"A spirit passed before my face." This spirit is a demon, not an angel from God. God always tries to make sure that people are not frightened by his actions. God is love, and 1 John chapter 4 verse 8 says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear." God works hard to rid people of fear. Almost always, when God or an angel appears to someone and the person is startled or afraid, they are told not to be afraid. This occurs many times in the Bible. Examples: Genesis chapter 15 verse 1, Genesis chapter 26 verse 24, Judges chapter 6 verse 23, Daniel chapter 10 verse 12, Daniel chapter 10 verse 19, Luke chapter 1 verse 13, Luke chapter 1 verse 30, Luke chapter 2 verse 10, Revelation chapter 1 verse 17. In contrast to that, the spirit that appeared to Eliphaz acted in a way that caused him to be greatly afraid. He trembled, the hair on his body stood up, and he reported that the experience made all my bones shake, meaning he was greatly afraid. Job chapter 4 verses 14 through 15. God's angels alleviate fear, demons cause fear. What Eliphaz saw was a demon. There is more evidence that what appeared to Eliphaz was a demon, including what it said and what it knew. Eliphaz's experience teaches us quite a bit about demons. They can come into concretion so people can see them, and in that state, they are often referred to as ghosts. Also, they purposely cause fear, and they also give false information that misleads people. The devil and demons lie, and this demon in Job chapter 4 lied. Also, he mixed truth with error, a tactic that the devil and his demons use all the time to confuse people and get their support. The devil did that with Eve in Genesis chapter 3 verses 4 through 5, and people get deceived by that trick and fall into error. Mixing truth with error deceived Eliphaz. If we closely examine what the demon said to him, we can see the lies. When the demon said, "Behold, he puts no trust in his servants," Job chapter 4 verse 18, that was a lie. God puts great trust and responsibility in both his spirit servants and his human servants, and he deals with the consequences when they let him down, which they sometimes do. However, in the context of Job chapter 4 verse 18, the servants of God are his spirit servants, specifically his top spirit rulers and officials, for example, his archangels. See commentary on servants in 2 Samuel chapter 11 verse 1. Then when the demon said, "He charges his angels with error," that was true, because God is a just judge and a caring father to his spirit world, and he coaches, trains, and corrects them as is appropriate. It is even possible that he had charged this particular demon spirit, this fallen angel, with error, but in the context in which the spirit said what he did, he made it sound like God was distrusting of his spirits and was always looking for error in what they were doing, which is not true at all. God is love, and he is very supportive of his whole family, both his flesh and spirit family. Then the demon continued with his lies in Job chapter 4 verse 19. He had just said in Job chapter 4 verse 18 that God did not trust even his ruling spirit beings, and he enlarged upon that. And in Job chapter 4 verse 19, he implied that human beings were of little value to God. He opened by implying that if God did not trust his leading spirits, then he certainly does not trust people who are just clay and dust. Then it went on to speak about how weak humans were, and that God cared little about them, by saying that people are crushed as easily as a moth. Then, in Job chapter 4 verse 20, the demon lied and said, "They humans perish forever without anyone paying attention to it." That demonic statement removes both the hope of everlasting life and the existence and value of human love. Saved people don't perish forever, they live forever, which is why it is so important for people to get saved and be sure of their salvation. Furthermore, humans care very deeply for one another and grieve deeply when a loved one dies. The demon continued his demoralizing speech and said in Job chapter 4 verse 21 that people died without wisdom. Many verses in the Bible speak about how wise people live, and many people live that way. While it is always possible for a person to gain more wisdom in life, it is wrong to make the general statement that people die without wisdom. Sadly, Eliphaz took what the demon said to him as truth, and it became part of his theology and belief system. Thankfully, God stepped in at the end of Job's ordeal to help Eliphaz and his friends. Job chapter 42 verse 7 says, "Yahweh said to Eliphaz the Temanite, My wrath is kindled against you, and against your two friends, for you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has." If Eliphaz built upon what God said, and also learned from what Job said, he could correct his theology